think it is inevitable that there is some sort of authorities that tutor has.
Okay. And do you agree on that authority?
When I agree my tutor's opinion, I agree with it. If I don't agree with them.
You think of, the etiquettes in the architecture pedagogy in general?
I would probably use the word privilege. Because architectural design in first itself is already privilege enough. It requires you to program other people's life, and that's one privilege while you are a designer. That's the point of like a design school, and design is very subjective.
What is your view on, say, a tutor marking a student based on their participation?
Normally they will mark like 10% for the participation. And I think that's a okay range for that. Reason why? Because it shows your respect to your tutor at least and to other like classmates. It won't be fair if you're not attending and got the same mark. Things turns not right when you are dictating other members and trying to control what are they going to do. So you really need to respect someone like that. And unfortunately, I'm afraid that I'm kind of
one of those dictators.
Yes, I am, but on the good side, that I always work with those people who have been working with me, so that wasn't a huge problem for that.
Multiple times where I have an opinion, but I don't voice it because I understand the arguing that ensues outweighs the productivity of my group.
Do you have times where you just want to try to be on the nice side of people?
Internally, I've been thinking this whole semester, I've been hiding moments where I'm unhappy or displeased with something somebody says because I don't say much. But then I'll be asked later on by somebody, "What's wrong? You don't look happy." There was a moment where the tutors in my studio, they went from giving me very good grades. I didn't change the quality of my work, but because I seemed less engaged in class, because I was happy to let the rest of the group communicate, because I was doing a lot of the heavy lifting at the start, they suddenly thought I didn't care and started to give me very bad marks that I don't see justified. So that there was almost this etiquette of having to pretend of caring in order to impress or convince the tutor that I'm engaged in their teachings.
Students are not comfortable with speaking up in front of some of the tutors because some of the tutors' attitude towards them are a lot more formal and some tutors' attitudes are a lot casual than the others. If you're working in a group, you gotta have some give and take action happening because not everyone's opinion is the same. So if you have this opinion, you gotta learn to understand that one, take that opinion of the others, and the other time that person's gotta take your opinion.
Was there any cultural difference in terms of etiquette?
We were raised as from primary school students that we have to be polite and formal to all our educators. I was kind of curious about how Koreans do their architecture pedagogy, so I kind of looked up on YouTube. I went on various interviews, and then I heard one of the professors say that Korean students don't argue to the tutors. They're always so submissive of what the tutors always say.
During the crit, the tutor say something you don't agree with?
I think the project belongs to myself. I'll still follow my own thoughts rather than tutors' ideas.
So have you ever had that experience, that moment where what the tutor say you strongly disagree with?
I will convey those other ideas to my tutor and have a quick negotiation, and then I will decide what to do next.
And if you think the person has really bad ideas, would you say anything?
So normally I will avoid any arguments, which is bad for teamwork. But if I think my own ideas are better than others, then I will insist on my one. But I will have something done first and see what's the result.
I think in some cases the studio teacher has such strong opinions and beliefs, and if you don't believe in those and try to work towards them, then they don't consider your work in any way. They just want to hear what they want to hear, and it makes it hard for you to respond back to their questions or critique.
Do you think people avoid confrontation with tutors or jurors so that they don't embarrass themselves?
Our students will try not to, I guess, get attention to themselves, and they'll just cruise under the radar just to get through the degree and just to have a pass at the end. And
do you think the university deals with current political issues through the studios they've presented?
I think in many cases the studio attempts to address these political or cultural issues that are occurring in current times.
Third year, and we are doing uni from home. There was a few COVID-based, I guess, projects that emerged even when the brief wasn't like asking for that, I guess. So yeah.
Are there times where you followed certain etiquette in the studio where you wished you didn't have to, or you wanted to go against it? Sometimes where you wanted to speak your mind and you just felt like it was better off that you didn't?
Yeah, I think so. In first year more than now, because in first year I didn't know as much, and I didn't know, I guess, the reason of like why. But yeah, I think now I respect sort of like studio etiquette a bit more.
What are your experiences with group projects?
I've had really good where everyone sort of pulls their own weight and, you know, meets up and goes through everything, and it's like really smooth sailing. But I've had the opposite, I guess. I've been put with people where their ideas like don't line up, and sort of someone's done more work that not everyone agrees with and stuff like that. So I think, yeah, you got to be like, I guess, a bit selectful of who you go with.
It's about what's prohibiting people from being honest in class. So if you really think someone's work is trash, but you didn't say something, why might that be?
Maybe it depends on how close your relationship is. But I think they'll be more nice about it, but you kind of have to pry that information. I don't think anybody would ever say, oh, your project is ugly.
Was your tutor helpful in providing that support?
Yeah, I think she was on board of what we were doing. It was really pragmatic help. Maybe in another studio, it would be nice to do design and learn about, because we're still in academia. I definitely value students' advice.
Was there anyone in your group who was forcing an agenda and making you feel powerless to change that?
There wasn't anyone like that that was overly powerful and dominant, but I guess because I was away, so I actually put myself in that position of only being able to listen to other people. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's actually true in the sense that, the more you participate, the more dominant you feel.
What if the person who's getting all the credit's ideas were synthesized from their group persons, but the idea is still shit?
I've experienced that, but not in masters, but in undergrad. The guy was he was just there most of the time, and he talked to the tutor a lot. He was pretty friendly with the tutor, and I was I was almost like an outsider during every crit, because they spent so much time talking, and I didn't get a say, and I was kind of shy back then. Mm. So ultimately, he got a better mark despite me doing 90% of the work. I should have just be honest and not be so nice to the guy and just say, stop stealing all my work.
Criticism is a vital part of studio. Has there been enough criticism of our group?
If you're in a large group, it's mainly, majority of the time, because people are lazy, some people are more passionate, there's always this dominant figure that dictates everything. Sometimes you just want to get things over and done with. It's not going to get you anywhere by arguing. So instead of arguing, you just simply agree, even though it's a shit idea.
So we talked about in Witch Hunt, there's the condemning of the white male.
What we're trying to do is not to condemn, but to rather, identify the problems that were happening and to make sure that it doesn't happen again. in one hand, you are justifying that, okay, because you were like the males were dominating the female for so long, it's our turn to dominate you. But that defeats the whole movement, because it's about equality, not about paying back. You know, if you're paying back, then this cycle never ends. Yeah. Black Lives Matter can be a thing, but black people harassing Asian people in America is also a current thing. But why is no one talking about that besides the Asian community? Yeah. Why is All Lives Matter getting bashed, but Black Lives Matter not getting bashed? That's what happens when things go too radical.
Is there a fear of contradicting what they say?
Yeah, most definitely. There's the idea of first they have the power over my marks, and ultimately I came here to get a better mark and get that certificate and move on with my life. And secondly, I guess there's this notion of knowing that they have done this before us and that they have more experience than us. So majority of the time their advices are we are so bound to this society's default standards of like job hierarchies and like social class hierarchy.
And then the chairs and tables move around to form it like that, and then the post etiquette.
I don't understand, sorry.
We're struggling to have discussions that lead anywhere.
Between you?
Between our class.
Why, you don't talk? Some people talk or come with little ideas? What happens?
No, we talk.
We talk ad nauseum, I'd say.
We talk, but it's a lot of explaining what the concept is.
But I cannot be a coach, like a football team coach.
I know.
Technically, you're graduate students.
That's the issue. That's the issue that we're talking about, is the fact that we can't have these discussions because students just don't have this background research even.
Or they don't attend the lectures,
or
they don't do the readings.
Something about what it is other than just regurgitating what someone else said.
I know, Leila, and I've been in this situation as a student myself and as a professional even. Bad line. This is a piece of the truth.
Yeah, no. Can we use that?
Poor thing.
Can we
it's
use?
Okay, Akar, you're gonna
Can
be
we
fine.
use that piece of the truth and really dive into the etiquette of?
You started with drama. The first class it was.
No.
I still remember.
No, but use that as the topic.
If people feel that the topic is too intellectual for your taste, well, I don't know. You're the one who kind of brought this to us, and it was chosen by after the presentation of the three of the proposal that we have. This was the best presentation, and that's why it became something that the rest of the group has to adopt. And we even mentioned at one point that some of the topics, subtopics in the other teams could be welcome, but even that didn't happen. So you kept undermining your own work. That's what happened. Okay?
I think I'm going to be the public enemy here and just
Good. Go for it.
I was kind of angry when Leila said that because we are not trying to intentionally sabotage anyone. Like,
who are we?
Like, I guess.
Royal we?
I guess our group, particularly.
Public enemy. That's
like,
not the case.
No, like
felt like
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I
Okay.
told you guys that, like, even after class, I told you guys
I'll
that
tell
we
you.
need to go into the details to, like, the dates, to the time of exactly every single event that's going to
not just
happen,
the case.
and that's exactly what
Okay.
Miguel wants. And then we talked
told
about
us
it.
that, but is that our responsibility? Why
And
didn't you
then-
contribute to it?
And then I tried to contribute, like the next time during Zoom, I tried to talk about it. And then suddenly the whole idea changed, and because you guys were dominating the whole
idea doesn't
thing.
change suddenly. The idea changes through our conversations, and if you weren't there for the conversation, maybe it will change something. Like, if there's no back and forth between the ideas that are made to justify or validate these ideas, then obviously the ideas are going to be questioned because maybe they're not strong.
Every Zoom session I go to has a different topic that, like, have a different. Our project is different, when it's not just like, oh, it's increased or like it's an advance, it's changed completely from ground up.
Design, and that's what we're trying to do, trying to come up with best ideas. And I get your frustration. I would love to be presenting Heath and Miguel a fucking schedule with everything in it, because I would love to.
I know.
And if I could afford failing the subject, I would not do the work as a method of protest to show who can do the work. But I can't afford to fail the subject, so therefore, unfortunately, have to lead and do the thing they have to do. It's bad. But again, it's part of the dynamic, and it is what it is. I have to work with it, and I've tried to work with everyone. And I've tried to work with everyone, and I think it's just a matter of rewrite. Just like we're all kind of guilty of different things.
I feel like one of the main reasons why drama like this happens is that a lot of the time, a lot of different individuals are really putting in effort to their own work, what they think is valuable, what they think really works or might contribute, and then
I think I understand that there's a bit of an internal gatekeeping in the group itself.
And then what happens is that if an idea isn't chosen, say like what happened with the main classes, then the people whose ideas weren't chosen really feel unmotivated and depressed, and just what's the point of doing work if none of my things are valuable anyway? It's just,
I wish I have a camera here not to document you, to document all of you, because I think you're producing the very document of a pre-etiquette moment. Everything that you're saying today, funny. Once you decide not to be bluffing and start telling the truth, spilling it out, everything is very valuable.